Hi, and welcome back to The Knitter's Closet, a podcast about knitting. I'm your host, Melissa. You can find me on Instagram as The Knitter's Closet and on Ravelry as The Knitter's Closet. Welcome to all our new viewers and welcome back to all our returning viewers. Today is St. Patrick's Day and this is episode 13. Nope, 12. Sorry. Already off to a great start. Okay. So, let's just jump right into some finished objects, shall we? I know last podcast I had all the things done. And this one, I'm just not going to have a lot of the things done. It's been 2 weeks. And I've had a bad 2 weeks, to be honest, mentally. I just wasn't in a good place to knit some complicated things. And by complicated, I mean I couldn't even knit on socks and do increases for heels or heel turns or anything. So my finished objects are, I don't even have the ends woven in. I didn't even have the mental energy for that. So I have 2 finished objects and they're both the same exact thing. They're the Sockhead hats by Kelly McClure. Look at my note here. I had it. Where was it? Yes, Kelly McClure. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry. And the yarn is Knit Girl Yarns in her Bounce and Stop Sockway. And the color's Dr. Donna. It's a really pretty brown with the speckles. And it was so nice. I knit it twice. I had half the skein left and I was like, I'm just going to knit another Sockhead hat. So I did. That's all the energy I had for this week to knit. And I just, yeah. I did get my mojo back yesterday. Yesterday was finally a good day for me. Friday was pretty good too. But yesterday was even better, and then today has been really, really good. So, I've got my mojo back. So hopefully next podcast I'll have all the things finished. I did, hold on. Put these on a pair. I did finish a pair of socks. So this is my 3rd pair of socks finished for the year that are knit for me. This is actually the 4th pair I finished this year, but the 3rd pair that are for me. And again, I don't have my ends woven in. Let's see, I'll get a good picture of the color. It looks, the camera's blown out, so it looks kind of red, but these are definitely pink. So it's like a hot pink with blacks and grays. And they're just a vanilla sock pattern. And I'm actually kind of glad I finished these. So some of you have seen these before on the podcast and have noted, and you'll know that they're knit out of Potion yarn. And I was just made aware of the controversy behind Potion yarn like Friday. I don't follow her on Instagram normally, and I didn't even know she had a podcast, to be honest. And I just found out about a very non-inclusive podcast that she put out, and it was very disappointing to see. So I'm glad I'm done with these socks because it means I will not be talking about her yarn anymore. It's the only skein I own, so yeah, that's that. I know that, you know, a lot of makers out there have really shown who they are in the last couple of months and weeks during all this debating about diversity and inclusion and all of that. And I know that I'm just a small-time podcaster. I've got 50-some subscribers, and I know that I don't make a huge amount of purchases every year. I'm not a prolific buyer, but I work very hard for my money, and I'm going to choose to spend it with dyers that are worthy of that money. And Potion Yarns is no longer going to be one of those. And honestly, if I come across any others, I probably will drop them as well. again, I work hard for my money, and it's going to go to people that I feel that are doing better for the community and leaving the world a better place. I try to do that, and I want my money to go to people who are trying to do that as well. So yeah, only 3 finished objects this week. I feel like it's not a lot. I mean, I did whip out a sockhead hat in like 1 day. So that's good progress, right? Yeah. I said I was going to finish all these sweaters. I didn't even touch Joe's sweater. Or it's over here. I didn't even rip out my sweater that's knit 3 sizes too big. I have decided that I may potentially rip out my Graphica and knit it at the smallest size possible. I don't know. I really enjoyed knitting it, so I don't think knitting it again will be an issue. It wasn't super hard. So, I don't know. I just didn't, like I said, it was a really bad week emotionally with anxiety and everything, and I didn't have it in me. Yeah. I don't apologize for that. I know, I feel like I should, but I'm not. Sorry, I'm playing with my pens over here. It's like a huge pile. I kind of like scrambled to put this together today. Not because I didn't want to, but because I went around shopping this morning and I ran short on time. So, I do have a few works in progress. So, where to start? Let's see. We'll start with the baby sweater. I have a sleeve on the baby sweater. This is the focus. I want you to focus on that. There we go. Aren't those colors just gorgeous? Just absolutely gorgeous. This is the Tin Can Knits. Back to me. Mimi. Hi, there we go. Yay. Okay. So this is the Tin Can Knits Flax in the worsted weight in the 6 to 12 month size. Obviously not for me. For my friend that I said was having a baby. This is going to be for the little girl, so very gender neutral. Oh, and I brought that book I was telling you about. So this is the ABCs of Biology, and it's by Chris Ferry and Kara Florence. And it's really super cute. So, like I said, I mentioned my friend who is having a baby is a doctor. And so I saw this and I thought, oh, isn't that perfect for a doctor and a doctor, because her partner is a doctor as well, having a baby. Like, how perfect could that be? So it's nice because they tell you it's like 3 different levels basically. So level 1 is just A is for A is for anatomy, B is for bacteria, and you don't have to explain it because it's a baby. And then as they get older, you can start building curiosity with just a basic description. So like if you look at A is for anatomy, it says A is for anatomy, and it shows a couple different organs. And then it says the level 2 curiosity is anatomy is the study of the parts of a living thing. And then you go to level 3, and then it gets into more complex information, and it says doctors and scientists study human anatomy, such as bones, organs, and the brain, so they will know how to fix them. Zoologists study animal anatomy to better understand the amazing types of life we have on this planet. So it's really, really great. Like, Nora doesn't know it, but she's getting this one for her Easter basket. And so, but I did get this for the baby. I got a couple different ones for Nora, but I got this one for my friend who's going to have the baby. So I'm really excited. I got it. I can't wait to send it to her. She's going to love it. So I think she's due in like 2 or 3 months. I can't remember. So, but yeah, so I got to finish the sleeves on this weekend, hopefully. That's my goal for this weekend, is to finish that. My next work in progress is the Copenhagen Calling Cowl. I did actually get some progress on this. Now, I did alter the pattern, So the pattern calls for 4 repeats of the lace. And I was okay, you know, the lace is fine, but after the lace, it wanted you to do a garter stitch round in this color, in the darker color, and you didn't go back to the lighter color at all. And I didn't want, not that I don't love the darker color, I just didn't want it on my face, and I really kind of was like, well, I've got most of the skein of this left, and I was like, I'm just gonna, so what I did was, I ended this at 3 repeats, and so I did a bit of the striping pattern that you see at the beginning of each section. So I did the striping pattern, and then I just went and repeated this, which is a 3x1 rib. So that'll be what it ends on instead of the garter, because you know me and avoiding purling, I don't like to do it. So that's I'm sorry, my leg keeps rubbing up against my thing, so making rude noises. And this is being knit out of the Ellen Cooper's Yarn Sonnets. That's the brown color, or the reds and greens and all that. There we go. With the sparkle, and that's a gold sparkle. This is on her Tinkerbell base. It's a 75 superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. 438 yards on 100 grams, 2 ply. And the colorway is called Chasing Autumn. And then this is Emma's yarn. And this is on her stellina base. It's 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. 138 yards on 100 grams, 2 ply. And it is her Whisper colorway. And this is actually a silver stellina. But it works very nicely. These two work just beautifully together. Like, I can't wait to wear this. We hit 1 day this week. 1 day. It got up to 80 degrees, and it was glorious. It was glorious. There was a breeze blowing, and it was a warm breeze, but it was still really, you know, like, I mean, after being 40 plus degrees, 30 degrees, you know, whatever, for so long, you just get, it was glorious. It was just absolutely glorious. So I was very, very excited. But then it's going to get colder again this week. Boo. Boo, boo, boo. What else do I have in progress? I cast on another pair of socks. As you do. Even though I had a pair on the needles already. Apparently 1 pair on the needles is not enough for me. To be fair though, that pair is getting ready to increase for the heel. Actually, I'm done increasing. I think I just have 1 more increase round, and then I'll be done with those. So these were super deep stash. Super, super deep. I don't even... I know what it is. It's, and I've misplaced my yarn label. It's JoJo and Harmony. Focus on the yarn. There we go. And it's in these pretty oranges and pinks. And it's kind of tweedy. I don't know if you can, or not tweedy. It's kind of marled, I guess. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so it's like a 2-tone ply in some spots. It's really nice. It is a. It's not a superwash merino. No, it's 100% superwash merino. So it has no nylon in it. But I'm knitting 24 pairs of socks. So I'm not going to be super hard on these. So it's an experiment. And I I've had this in my stash so long that it's not going to be made into anything else. So I cast on a pair of vanilla socks. This is my usual vanilla socks. I do 27 stitches on each needle on a 2.25 millimeter needle. I do a heel gusset and heel flap. That's what fits me nicely and what works for me. So that's one pair of socks in progress, and I did start these this past week. So after the podcast aired, but I haven't worked on them much. And then these are my other pair. These are the Knit Picks Candy Cane Stripe in Felici. And I love these socks. I can't wait to finish these. Again, they're my standard 2.25 millimeter needle and 27 stitches on each side of the needle. So 54 around. I am so bad at math. That's terrible. Oh, Melissa, you should be ashamed of yourself. I can't brain today. Yeah, 54. Oh, I did get it right. Yay. I can brain. I can. So yeah, so they're sisters, not twins, obviously, because they don't match exactly. But those are my socks. And then during my bad week, like I said, I couldn't knit anything super complicated, so I cast on a third sock head hat. You're like, Melissa, what are you gonna do with all these hats? I don't know. They may go in the bin for Christmas gifts. This is out of Malabrigo in their Velvet Grapes colorway. This is the Malabrigo sock, so it's their oh, it doesn't say what it is on here. It's Superwash Merino. 440 yards for 100 grams. That's surprising that the tag doesn't say what it is. Kettle dyed pure superwash merino wool. I hope it has nylon in it. Oh well. Like I said, I'm not super hard on my socks, so it doesn't matter. It is really pretty though. I love the pops of light purple in it. So I'll probably get another 2 sock head hats out of this. I literally just pick it up and knit it, you know, whenever I've got 2 seconds, like right now. What else do I have in progress? Oh, I have my Andrea Mowry hat. I am doing the Andrea Mowry knit along from F This Knit. And so basically you just have to knit an Andrea Mowry pattern, and I chose the Tincture hat. And it's a mosaic colorwork hat. I'd mentioned that on my last podcast that I was going to do it, and I cast it on. I did change the colors. I'm trying to find the pattern here so I can show you the finished. There we go. Focus there. There you go. So that's the hat. It's a DK weight hat. Knit on... Where's my needles? On a 3.75 and a 4.5 millimeter needle. So I've already switched to the larger needle. And I'm knitting it around. This is yarn that I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. And I actually have a bunch of this because I originally bought 6 skeins to do a Tecumseh, and I've since decided that I'm not going to do the Tecumseh. I'm at a point where I'm really not in my weight loss, where I'm not really wanting to wear big baggy stuff anymore. And I don't particularly like the sleeve, poncho type sleeve on it, so I'm not going to. And I'm not one to alter patterns. I can't, for the love of me, like I can omit a garter stitch ridge panel on the Tin Can Knits pattern, but for the life of me, I couldn't tell you like, oh, I'm gonna split here instead of here for the sleeves, and I'm gonna, you know, insert darts, and I couldn't do that. I'm sure I could if I tried. I just don't have the brain power most days. So anyway, I bought a bunch of this DK Merino, and it's from ScandinavianWeaveandKnit.com or YarnHike.com. It doesn't really have a name. It's a pretty basic yarn. You'll notice from the tag, which it's not gonna. Okay, you're gonna be a butt. There we go. So it's a Merino DK single ply. It is not superwash. This purple color is Midnight. And it's not a variegated, but a tonal purple. And then, here, I'll show it to you in the scene. It's very similar to the Velvet Grapes that I'm knitting. And then the contrast color is called Sandy Beach. Yeah, Sandy Beach. And it's very pretty. Very, very pretty. There's pops of blue and pinks in there. Very light, very pretty. Very, very reasonably priced yarn. I mean, this was $15 a skein, and it's 218 yards of a Merino DK single ply for 15 bucks. So I got a sweaters quantity for really cheap. I mean, that's great. I'll be hitting that booth again this year. This is my first foray into mosaic knitting, and I thought it was going to be a lot harder, and I was telling the girls at Knit Group yesterday, I was like, I thought it was going to be so hard because it was mosaic knitting and it was a new thing, and it turns out it's just slip stitches. And now I feel cheated because I feel like I was like, oh, I'm doing mosaic knitting, it'll be a new method that I'm learning. It's really not, because it's just slip stitches, and I already do slip stitches. And then, of course, I promptly had to tink back a row because I wasn't paying attention and I was being too confident. As you do, right? Right? So that's my only, that's it for Knits in Progress. I do have a couple of things that are needle adjacent. I went to my yarn store this morning to buy 9-inch circulars for the Tin Can Flax hat pattern, because, or not hat pattern, the baby sweater, because I wanted to do 9-inch circs for the arms. And yeah, I got surprised with the yarn sale. They had 20% off everything in the store that wasn't indie dyed, and 40% off clearance items. And I was like, what? And then I had Nora with me. So the first thing Nora like completely and utterly zeroed in on were the Toff UK pom-poms. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but I can't deny that girl a good pom-pom. So she picked out, so these are stash acquisitions from today. So, and she's already taken the label off, but it's the Toff UK pom-pom, and it is, oh my god, it's so soft, so amazingly soft. So she wanted a hat with this, and she wanted me to knit her a hat, and you know, when your daughter says, "Mommy, will you knit me a hat?" what are you supposed to say? she is my #1 fan of my knitting. I will give her that. So, I got her this, and then I told her to go to the clearance bin and pick out ball yarn from that. So she picked out this skein of Universal Yarn Adore. And it's a worsted weight. Maybe slightly lighter. Might be a light worsted. It's 55% merino, superwash merino, and 45% acrylic. So I'll make her a nice slouchy hat with it, and then I'll stick that pom-pom right on it. So that was one purchase. And then I got a request from my father-in-law, who is the second most knitworthy person in my life. So my actual family, my family, and my mom, my dad, my brother, and all of them, they're not knitworthy. No, I love them, but they're not knitworthy. My dad is, when I asked him if I could make him something for Christmas a few years back, he said, could you make me a plain black scarf? And I said, what, did you want it knitted or do you want it sewn? And he's like, oh, I want it sewn. So I cut him out a fleece scarf, cut out tassels, and just handed him to that. And he loves it. He absolutely loves it. But if I were to knit him a black scarf, he probably would never wear it. He's just very stuck in his style, and he's not going to change. And I'm okay with that. And my mom's, you know, she asks for things, but unless it's like a blanket, I never see it again. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna knit anything. So my brother every once in a while will ask me for a pair of fingerless gloves or a pair of socks or something. So I'll actually knit for him. He's surprisingly knitworthy. But I only knit for him if he asks, because otherwise it'll just go unwanted and it'll be something he doesn't want, and I'm not going to waste my time on that. My husband is incredibly knitworthy. He loves wearing things that I knit for him, sweaters. He tried to yank the 2 sock head hats from me today. And this morning, and I told him, I was like, you can have one, but you have to wait until after the podcast. And he's like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, I gotta have finished objects, babe. I was like, and the ends aren't even woven in yet, so you can't walk around with the hat, with the ends hanging out. He's like, fine. So, and he's got all kinds of socks, and he's got sweater, and he's got all kinds of hats, and he wants fingerless gloves. So anyway, that brings me back to my story. My father-in-law is my most knitworthy person ever. Like, he took that first pair of socks I knit him, and he wore them until they probably had holes in them, and I told him he should just throw them out because they were like, it was $5 sock yarn. I was like, not gonna take the time to darn them. So he sent Joe home with a diagram or a tracing of his hand because he wants a pair of fingerless mitts with the nubs for each finger. So only for this man would I do these, because I don't want to knit fingers. There's a reason I have never knit gloves, and I always knit mittens or fingerless mitts because I don't want to knit fingers. That's just doesn't seem appealing to me. It's not that it's complicated. I know it's not complicated, but it's fiddly, and I really don't care for fiddly knitting. So, but I'll do it for him. So he asked for a pair of fingerless gloves. So I did go to the local Michaels, and I picked up 2 skeins of Patons, whatever you want to call it, classic wool in their DK Superwash. I picked up 2 skeins of that. I'm pretty sure 1 skein would have done, but I think he wants 2 pairs. I gotta double check that with my husband. I think he wants 2. So My mother-in-law, love her. Sorry, camera cut out. So my mother-in-law once called me, and I have to laugh at this, and I'm sure other knitters will understand. She called me, and I had made Bob a pair of fingerless mitts, but just the cuffed ones one year for Christmas, and she said, you know, all his coworkers want a pair. You could really make some good money selling those. How long does it take you to knit those? And I was like, well, you know, not long. I could probably whip up a pair, you know, every other night. And she's like, well, you could sell those. I mean, what do you think you can get for them? And I was like, Nancy, I'm not selling them. They're not worth my time. No one's going to pay $40 for a pair of fingerless mitts. She's like, do you think you'd sell them for that much? Or you'd have to sell them for that much? And I'm like, well, yeah, at least that much. She's like, well, I was just thinking of ways you could make extra money. And I'm like, I appreciate the thought, but I will never sell my knitting unless it's something I've already knit and it's just not being used, because I don't want to knit with a deadline. I don't mind knitting with a deadline. You know, I am trying to do knit alongs this year, and I am trying to branch out into test knitting and some sample knitting, but I don't want it to be work. And with sample knitting and with test knitting, I can choose when I want to, but with making my hobby into a business, it's just, you don't get to choose anymore, and that just puts a whole different level of stress onto the hobby. I've done it before. I did it with jewelry making, and I don't make jewelry anymore. There's a reason for it. It's because it just completely wore me out trying to make a business out of making jewelry and going to craft shows and doing those kind of things, and I just, no, not gonna do it. Not for me. So that's those were recent purchases. And then I went to Delmarva Sheep and Wool, or not Delmarva Sheep and Wool, just Delmarva Wool and Fiber Festival, I think is what it's called. It's a pretty small festival. It's only in its 3rd or 4th year. But I went with Nora, and I did get some filmed footage, so I'm going to insert that at the end of this video. So if you want to check that out, stay tuned. But for right now, I'm just going to show you my stash acquisitions. So one of the ones I got was No Drama Llama, and it's one of those color dealios. So it comes with a couple of different perma markers, so you can color it in. And I used a Sharpie for the no. And then I had some other types of brush markers, so I'm just using those too to add in other colors. Because the colors it comes with are, yeah, so they're basically just primary colors. And it didn't fit my aesthetic, so I was just like, I have markers, so I used those. Works out nicer. Question, I can have a pink and teal llama, a No Drama llama, to go in my yarn room. That's that in there. And so I hit up, oh, I did get, I got some mailed in purchases too. Yeah, okay. So probably some of the anxiety. We went to I'm gonna apologize because I don't remember which vendor I bought this from. The name on it is Universe, but I don't think that was the actual booth. But I got this enamel pin. It's a yarn. Come on, focus. There we go. It's a yarn basket. I do love a good pun. And this is going to go into our prize section for our Maryland Sheep and Wool Stash Down. So this is going to be a prize, part of the prize, and then I got this gorgeous skein of worsted weight. This is a superwash merino worsted weight, 218 yards. And it is from Unplanned Peacock Studios. And this is the Tide Pool colorway. Come on, focus. Why is it? Guys, sorry. My camera just doesn't want to focus today. There we go. It is this absolutely gorgeous skein. All these rusty oranges and grays and creams and blues. And this is going to be these two items are going to be the prize in our hashtag Make Room for Maryland Sheep and Wool stash down. So if you're not participating already, head on over to the Ravelry group. It's the Knitter's Closet podcast on the Ravelry forums. And we have a thread for the hashtag Make Room for Maryland Sheep and Wool stash down knit along. And you don't necessarily not have to buy yarn. The goal is to knit projects from stash. So if you are knitting a project from stash, put that in there and mark it down. I marked down the total yardage of the skein. So if you were to use this and you used half of it, you'd still say 218 yards, because basically it's going to be leftovers when it's done. So, but you can win this gorgeous little package. And I may add other goodies to that right now. I don't know, but that's the goodies for right now. And then I also went over to a new to me dyer, Rita Mae Yarns, Yarn for the Modern Maker. And I got some of her Sweet Pea sock because pretty sure I was channeling Caroline from Dunder Knit when I bought these. I may have had a theme going. Because, yeah, it's a beautiful gold. Aren't those beautiful together? This is her Sweet Pea sock base. This is called Golden Brown. This one's called Berries and Cream. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards on 100 grams. And I'm thinking of knitting myself a little cropped sweater. I think this will be enough. If not, I'll get another skein of something to go with it, I'm sure. But I'm just gonna do, like, I want to do a little cropped sweater with long sleeves. I have bought myself a couple of maxi dresses that are sleeveless for the summer, but my office still gets really cold. So I was thinking that you know, that cropped sweater look over top of a long maxi dress would be really cute for the office for summer. And that way I can take my sweater off when I get out to my car, when I'm driving around or doing whatever and I'm getting hot, but in the office where it's still cold, I can do that. And I did get one that was like a burgundy color, so that'll work really nicely with that, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. Look at the pops of that purple in there. Isn't that pretty? There we go. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? It called to me. I couldn't put it down. So, and you'll see them. I did a little videoing of them during the event, as well as Unplanned Peacock and a few other people, with permission, of course. And I'll be tagging them when I post this so that they can see. They were all very lovely, nice vendors. I also talked to the owner and dyer behind Shirsty Cat Designs, because she is running Allentown Fiber Festival, which is in April, and I am hoping I can go to that, so that'll be really fun. It's shaping up to be a really good festival this year. She's got a lot of really good vendors. And then my last two purchases, I have a knitting themed t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it from there, but it says "Nevertheless, She Knitted." And I got it in a pin too. These are from Nerdbird Makery. She is nerdbirdmakery.com. And I am so excited. I cannot wait to put this on my little bag, because yeah, it's super cute. She's super pretty. And then I had to get the shirt to match. Like, isn't that not cute? She's got some other ones coming up that I really want to get to. So I'm like, I've been stalking her website for some. And then I got, so I followed the dyer behind Created by LCB. And I'm not a spinner, but I follow her fibers and they're absolutely gorgeous. But she makes bags too. And you guys, holy crap. She posted these the other day and I was like, yoink. I grabbed 2 of them. 2 of them. I do have one in the bag because I may end up holding this one for prizes at some point. But look, it's a little sheep, and I'll show you with mine. And there's her webpage, Created by LCB, and she's on Etsy. And I love her logo. Look at that sheep, isn't he cute? Oh, she's on Etsy, but they also have a website, createdbylcb.com. So this is the one I'm keeping for me. It's a little black sheep. That's me. And it's a Notions pouch, but you see how big this is, right? Like, in theory, if you had a small project like baby socks, you could totally put baby socks in this. But look at the little ears on them. How stinking cute is this? And there's even, okay, so there's matching fabric inside, but I don't know if you can see this. There's a pocket inside the Notions pouch. Like, and she's got the little nose stitched on and little button eyes. How stinking cute is this? I wanted one for every single bag I own. I stopped myself at 2, but I really wanted one for every bag I own. These are so stinking cute. Adorbs. Yeah, so that's it for stash acquisitions. I do have one needle adjacent project that I'm going to work on. Hopefully this week after I finish the baby sweaters. I have 2 out of the Malabrigo scraps, but this is gonna be, I'm gonna do the party top. I want to do the party top because I want to do yet another crop top sweater, and I'm gonna do it out of the Yarn Hige Scandinavia knit, the DK that I'd gotten from my Tecumseh, and this is in their pewter colorway base, and I have 3 skeins of that, and it should be enough. I think the pattern said for a small, which is what I'm knitting for that one, because I don't need, it says it's an oversized, but I don't need it to be super oversized, so I am going to knit a small on that one, and I think it's at 600 yards for that, which, by the way, I love. I know that all the pattern makers, when they go on Ravelry and they put in their patterns, they put, I'm going to try to find this for you real quick. They put what the yardage required is for the patterns, but they put a range. So they basically say, oh, it's, you know, so for the Abby Knits party top, you'll see where it says it's however many yards to however many yards, which is great, except that, you know, if you're out there and you're trying to buy a sweater quantity worth of yarn, you've either got to go way overboard and buy the 900 yards if you know you're going to be, you know, whatever, or you go way under and you get 450 and you're like, or you've got to guesstimate. What I do love that on her pattern page, she actually put on the pattern notes the estimated yardage, there we go, for each size. And I cannot tell you, so yeah, so the medium was 600 yards. And so I have 600 yards. I didn't get 600 yards. I may only need 550 if I do the smaller size. But if I do the larger size, I have the amount. But it was nice. It was really, really nice to go, oh, that's actually going to be the yardage I need. I don't need to go out and buy more yarn. I have this. I don't have a lot of DK weight sweater quantities. It's probably something I'm going to look at getting and, you know, investing in come Maryland Sheep and Wool, because a lot of these sweater patterns that are out there now that are really popular are DK weight. So I may invest in a couple sweater quantities of that, assuming I can knit down the stash between now and then. I think I'm doing an okay job. Says the girl who bought 5 more skeins of yarn, not including the other ball yarn I got the other day, right? Yeah, sure, whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna sign off, say thank you. Oh, news. Okay. I can't sign off yet. Alright, so for my hashtag for Maryland Sheep and Wool or for my hashtag make room for Maryland Sheep and Wool stash down, I finished the sockhead hat, which was 460 yards. Let's clear that out. And then I finished the vanilla socks, and that was 400 yards. I shouldn't have needed a calculator for that. 860 yards is my total stash down for the make room for Maryland Sheep and Wool stash down. So hopefully I will get a bunch more done. Some of the projects I'm knitting right now don't even count because, like, I already counted the stash on that. This is technically leftovers. And I haven't put the fingerless, I haven't put this in my stash, so I'm not going to bother counting it. And oh, well, you know, my Andrew Mowry hat will be yarn stash, and my Copenhagen Calling by Isabel Kramer will be stash. So hopefully I'll get those done very soon. In the other news, you'll notice that I changed my Ravelry name. I am now The Knitter's Closet on Ravelry, as well as Instagram and YouTube. So now you can find me everywhere as The Knitter's Closet. I have logo in the works. Can't wait for that to get finished. Should be interesting. Having some little confusion with the logo designer. I said, could you make the closet look like it's overflowing with yarn? And she added like 2 balls. And I was like, no, overflowing. So hopefully on this 3rd edit they'll get that, and it'll be good. But so, alright, so I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you around on Instagram and Ravelry. And if you'd like, you can stay tuned for some footage of the Delmarva Fiber Festival. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.